7 o'clock, I will call the meeting of the Select Board of December 3rd, 2024 to order. If anyone from the public wishes to access the meeting, they can do so by calling the conference line 1-929-205-6099. The Zoom meeting ID is 869-5775-5505. The password is all uppercase, Bourne, B-O-U-R-N-E. Note this meeting is being televised, streamed, or recorded by Bourne TV. If anyone in the audience is recording or videotaping, they need to acknowledge it at this time. Hi, Jamie. Thank you. Use of flash photography during select board meetings is prohibited. The Zoom chat will not be monitored. Participants who wish to speak must raise the hand icon until the chair asks them to unmute. So this evening we have Melissa Ferretti, Select Board Member Ferretti, joining us on Zoom. All votes will be roll call votes as a result. And here in person we have Anne Marie Saronian, Mary Jane Mastrangelo, Peter Meyer, and Jean Azarovitz. We will begin with a moment of silence to recognize our troops and public safety personnel. Salute to the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Report out from executive section. Select board discuss some matters and approve some minutes. Thank you. Reading of the select board vision and mission statements.
I'll take the vision. Bourne is a proud community that embraces change while respecting the rich heritage of the town and its villages. It is a municipality based on strong fiscal government with a durable economy that recognizes the rights of all citizens, respects the environment, especially the coastal areas of the community, and the amenities that it affords. Bourne embraces excellent education and offers to citizens a healthy, active lifestyle.
And the mission.
I can read the mission.
Okay.
Bourne will maximize opportunities for social and economic development while retaining an attractive, sustainable, and secure coastline and environment for the enjoyment of residents and visitors. Through responsible professional leadership and partnership with others, Bourne will strive to improve the quality of life for all residents living and working in the larger community.
Thank you. Community shout out and recognition. Who would like to go first? Peter.
This Friday will be the last day for Mary Fernandez. Mary's our assistant town clerk. Mary has given her life to the town in various capacity. If it's over at Bourne Public Schools at one point, then over to the tax collector's office, and then over to the clerk's office, where she was ultimately promoted to assistant town clerk. With everything going on at Barry over the last few years, Mary's been very invaluable to the town clerk's office. And I wish I had gotten a request in sooner. I would have loved to proclaim it Mary Fernandez Day on the last day, Friday, but we can't do that because it's too late. But I wanted, this is my way of giving her public recognition for all that she had done, and thank you, Mary. And Steve, good luck. Her husband.
Okay.
We wish her well.
It's all good.
Jean, you got something?
We wanted to do the community shout out to, and I don't have the student's name, right, Connor. Yeah.
The eighth grader?
Yeah, Project
351.
351 being recognized and representing the town of Bourne, the state.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, just as a historical perspective, Michael Corrao was a 351 student on behalf, for the 8th grade back in a long time ago in my eyes right now. But he is now at Bridgewater State, as a student and doing great things up there. So these kids do evolve and do great things that come out of that program representing us.
Congratulations.
It's a great leadership program, community service. Yeah, it is.
You have something?
Just a shout out, this Saturday from 10 to 2 is Stuff-A-Bus outside the Bourne Intermediate School. So you can bring an unwrapped toy or a gift card, and a few bus drivers will be parked out front of the intermediate school on Trowbridge Road on Saturday between 10 and 2.
This is also homeless for the holidays weekend, December 4th to 8th at the Bay Motor Inn, 223 Main Street. So keep that in mind. And would like to congratulate 20 Bourne High School students who were awarded John and Abigail Adams scholarships for their excellent performance on the MCAS tests. So a lot of good stuff happening. Okay.
I'd like to add to that.
Okay, Melissa.
Seeing as no one has recognized it yet, I figured it would be fitting for me to do a community shout out to my tribal community. The Herring Pond Wampanoag Tribe was just recognized on November 19th through Executive Order 637, formally acknowledging our tribal community and reaffirming our sovereignty in this area. So I thought I should add that, seeing as we have not said that yet in our select board meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Next is public comments on non-agenda items, and I believe we have several people signed up for public comment.
I'll get the sheet if we bring the sheet up. You got it?
So public comments are allowed up to 12 minutes at the beginning of each meeting. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes for comment. Just note that board members are not able to respond due to the posting requirements of the open meeting law. So we will listen to your comments and then set up an agenda item in the future if we think it's an important thing to address. So, thank you. Welcome. Please identify yourself.
Well, I thank you for letting me come here to express a couple of concerns I have. My name's Tim Scully, and I live at Taylor's Point, One Bay Drive, and I'm here tonight to talk about one main concern I have, and then another one which is just a little issue I wanted to bring up. But my main concern here is the private parking on grass in Taylor's Point area. It's getting a little out of hand, so much that I think it's making the place look like a used car lot. And there are a number of streets where there are, I don't know, but I believe they might be in violation. Saltworks Lane, Bourne Neck Road, Bay Drive, and Plaza Lane. I took a ride around the neighborhood a couple of weeks ago and noted and recorded about a total of 45 cars parked in people's grass. And let's see, I think it's just a little too much, and it seems like it's getting worse every year. And it's not good for the neighborhood. It just doesn't look good. It's like going downtown in South Boston someplace, and I've lived up there for a while too. And another part of this is not only just the cars parking on the grass or private property. There's an environmental issue here. We got all these cars that are parking on the lawn. I don't know how good they are or how well they've been taken care of, but they're all dripping oil on the grass. So it's only going one place, and that's into the ground. So if we're interested in the environment, that's an issue right there also. So I wanted to be very brief about this whole thing. That's the main concern I have. And I guess what I'd like to say before I get on to a little bit more is I'd like to see that added to the agenda maybe the next time, just for a feedback and information as to what we're thinking about or what we can do or what we can't do. The second thing I wanted to talk about is identity. I think the town is being taken for granted a little bit from this standpoint. I look at the sign at the entrance to Taylor's Point, and it's a big sign, and it says Mass Maritime Academy. That's all it says. It doesn't say Mass Maritime Academy at Buzzards Bay. It doesn't say Mass Maritime at Taylor's Point. It just says Mass Maritime. And I was thinking about that. I've been thinking about it for a long time. And I happen to think if you went to the military academy, you would say, where's the military academy? It's in West Point, New York. So military academy at West Point, New York. The Naval Academy, Annapolis, Maryland. It's associated with a town. Military Academy associated with a town. The Air Force Academy associated with Colorado Springs. Mass Maritime It's not associated with anything. It's all by itself, which is what is happening here today, because in my opinion, and it's only my opinion, I apologize if I get rude, but I think they take us for granted here in this town, and because they have connections up north. So that's my point, and my suggestion would be that maybe we should think about adding something to that sign that says Mass Maritime at Taylor's Point or Mass Maritime at Buzzards Bay. And that's my time. I have nothing else. I could speak longer, but I think there are other people that want to talk too.
Thank you
So
very much. Thank you for taking the time to come in and speak
I
with
want to
us.
thank you for having me and allowing me to speak, and I just want to make sure, again, like I say, it gets added to the agenda for the next time around. Thank you all. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Next is Adelaide Carrera. Welcome, Addie.
Good evening. My name is Addie Carrara, and I would like to add to our last speaker, Mr. Scully's remarks on the problem of the MMA student parking on Taylor's Point on private property. This practice ignores the rules and regulations of the town of Bourne bylaws. What started out as an idea to help the nonprofit organization for benefit of children and residents and giving scholarships has turned into a disaster for full-time residents of Taylor's Point. The situation for which I'm addressing tonight is that the Taylor's Point has become a giant parking lot. We have cars from MA students parking sometimes 4 and 6 deep across the homeowner's front lawn. These seasonal homeowners, and remember, they're seasonal owners, collect $500 to $600 a car from these students. It's not cheap, so they're paying their taxes, meaning during the school year, they are not there to see any of this mess. They are essentially running unlicensed, unregulated parking without any taxes on this income. We pay our taxes, they get the money. This situation has caused deep divisions between seasonal and full-time residents. One full-time resident in particular has been threatened by the seasonal homeowner when he complained. He has 6 cars on his neighbor's front lawn. We too have been threatened in a way. Our neighbor has said, if you keep complaining, I'll put them in your backyard. And he's even put a boat there. Well, we have a total of 6 cars on our front lawn, right next to our home. Not only do we have cars, we have trucks. If we complain, we are told to watch it, or we will put additional cars. As a matter of fact, on Saltworks Lane, there are over 35, and Jack said there are at least 50 to 60 cars on the lawns. As a matter of fact, one home has 3 cars in the front, 4 in the back, a huge camper, home camper, 2 trucks, and another camper. Cadets have been observed changing their clothes between cars and sometimes leaving debris, making loud noises when they come and go. MMA, lack of parking facilities, should not be the problem of Taylor's Point residents. How would you feel if you went out your door in the morning and parking next to you are 6 to maybe 7 cars or trucks on the front line of your neighbor? It is my hope by coming here tonight, this board will think of our plight and help us with our solution. We would appreciate whatever assistance you could give us in this matter, and thank you for giving me the time to
Thank you very
complain.
much. Thank you for coming in and
Thank you.
expressing your thoughts.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. The next is Glenn Dion.
Yeah, my name is Glenn Dine. I live at 2 Saltworks Lane. I was a neighbor that got threatened because I talked about having to move his cars off his property and his boat. But this is starting to get ridiculous. I got 6 to my right, 4 in front of me, 4 to my left. And what makes it worse, right across, if we ever had a fire, that Jeep's parked maybe 2-3 feet from the fire hydrant, so the fire department couldn't even do their job. And it's, I get up 2 o'clock in the morning. The kids might come in on a Saturday, Sunday, 12, 1 o'clock. They get their high beams on, they get their radios playing. I pay my taxes. I should be able to have my own rest, and like I said, my neighbors, they're not around, none of them are around, so they don't see it. They don't care about it. That's all they care about is, my neighbor gets $600. 6 cars, that's $3,600, tax-free. I like to do that. You know, I can put them out in my backyard, but I ain't gonna do that. It just wrecks the neighborhood. You know, I mean, Saltworks Lane, it's just a bad road. All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming in.
Would you like me to speak from here or walk up to the podium?
I think you should go to the podium to be clear. They're speaking as a private citizen.
Yeah.
Good evening. For the record, this is Peter Meyer, president of the Taylor's Point Improvement Association. I'm here in that capacity and not as a member of the select board here in town. My fellow neighbors who have spoken before me, I do concur with. This has been an ongoing problem for many years. What started off as something innocent has evolved into one that I feel like that we're going by Foxborough Stadium on a Sunday and you're going down these back roads and you see all these cars out front. I think at this point, in order to get our neighborhood back to where it should be, is we should have this on the agenda, to have this discussion. If there are compliance issues or license issues, that's one thing, but for the character of the neighborhood, it's time to take the neighborhood back, because, you know, it is looking unsightly in some spots. And also, with the narrow streets within Taylor's Point, because Academy Drive is wide enough on both sides of the street to get emergency apparatus down. But once you go into the neighborhood, once you put cars on either side of the road, you can't even get a fire truck or an ambulance down there. There was one situation back 12, 14 years ago, right across the street from Mr. and Mrs. Carrera, that the woman there had a stroke. The ambulance couldn't get down. It was during Pan Mass Challenge, and they had to bring the ambulance up the street to get Mrs. Bollinger out. So, I mean, I think it's something that should be on the agenda when available for time constraint, and we should discuss this matter and get it on the record because we would like to get our neighborhood back. Thank you.
Yep. So, we will work with the town administrator's office to determine when we can have it on the agenda and in a way that they are prepared to give us an action plan for how to deal with it. So we will let you know. Okay? Thank you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
All right, next is consent agenda.
Night.
Good night, thanks for coming in. The consent agenda has a committee appointment, Howard Coleman as constable for a 3-year term. You were emailed this evening the full application packet. So if you have any, you should check on that if you have any questions about it. It's very complete. Declare library picnic tables surplus, accept $200 donation to the library. Chapter 90 funding request for intersection safety evaluation at President's Road and Lamont Road. And annual license renewals, liquor, common victular, auto, class 1, 2, and 3, and entertainment. There is a list of the licenses that was posted with the agenda. So,
Can I request that we take A out of the consent agenda?
if you'd
Yeah,
like to,
yeah.
okay. So, motion to approve items 7B, C, D, and E.
So move.
Second?
Motion by Peter, second by Anne Marie. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Melissa?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Anne Marie?
Yes.
MJ, yes. 500. Okay, now a motion on 7A.
Yes, for a motion. Mr. Howard Coleman is online, I believe. I thought I saw him earlier. If that's Howard in the bottom left corner. I will say in reading this application and reading his references, especially when it comes from Robert Palumbo, that's enough for me in itself. You know, the guy's a guy of great ethic and great work ethic, and I think he'd be great in this position. But Howard, it's on there if he wants to unmute through the chair.
Yeah, is that you, Howard? Did you want to say anything?
Howard?
I don't know.
It's all right.
He was
We're
not.
giving him, I don't know, but I think the application process speaks for itself. I think the guy will be great at it, so I make a motion that we appoint Howard Coleman to constable for a 3-year term.
Second.
Motion by Peter, second by Anne Marie. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, it's a roll call vote. Melissa?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Anne Marie?
Yes.
MJ, yes, 500. All right, next is licenses and events. On consideration of change of manager request and change of officers on an annual club all alcoholic beverages liquor license for Buzzards Bay Erie 3741 Fraternal Order of the Eagles, DBA Buzzards Bay Eagles, 39 Cohasset Avenue, Bourne. Second review had to resubmit per ABCC. Is there anything you want to say on this, Liz, or I think
No,
the
just that the-
application is now complete? and-
Yeah, the cover sheet provided explanation that the ABCC identified that the officers weren't matching what they had on file, so that's why it was returned and has to appear before you once more.
Is this the one that has like two separate things
Yeah.
in the motion?
Yes.
Do you know what
But you can
page
do it
that's in the
together, and
packet?
you can do it together in one if you
Okay.
prefer, or you can do it separate.
Motion that we approve to change the manager for Buzzards Bay Erie 3741 Fraternal Order of Eagles, DBA Buzzards Bay Eagles at 39 Cohasset Avenue, Buzzards Bay, Mass. 02532, and approve the change of officers for Buzzards Bay Erie 3741 Fraternal Order of Eagles, doing business as Buzzards Bay Eagles at 39 Cohasset Ave, Buzzards Bay, Mass. 02532.
Second.
Motion by Peter, second by Jean. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, it's a roll call vote. Melissa?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Anne Marie?
Yes.
MJ, yes, 500. Next is consideration of change of manager request on annual restaurant all alcoholic beverages liquor license for Cranberries LLC, DBA Bog Tavern, 11 Brigadoon Road in Bourne.
I believe Mr. Sweet is on Zoom, if you have any questions.
Do you have anything to say, or would you like us to just keep moving forward here?
Okay. There we go. No, I'm just, I don't know, I have any questions, if you want to keep going.
Okay, so let's see here, do we know? I gotta get to the right packet here.
Motion to approve change of manager for Cranberry LLC, DBA The Bog Tavern at 11 Brigadoon Road, as conditioned by departments.
Motion by Peter, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jean. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Melissa?
Yes, I love the Bog Tavern.
Jean?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Anne Marie?
Yes.
MJ, yes, 500. All right, thank you. You're all set.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next is consideration of change of hours on an annual package store all alcoholic beverages liquor license for Barlow's Liquor Corp. DBA Seaside Wine and Spirit, 4 Barlow's Landing Road in Bourne. And the new Sunday hours, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Yeah.
It is permitted by the ABCC, those are the hours allowed for Sunday.
Okay, so they're changing from 10 to 8 to 10 to 11.
That's correct.
Okay. It's interesting.
We have a member of the of the Pocasset Village Association, and, you know, a neighbor over there. Do you guys have any comment on it? No? Okay.
It's fine.
Motion to approve the change of hours for Bowers Liquor Corp. DBA Seaside Wine and Spirits at 4 Bowers Lane and Road as conditioned by departments.
Is there a
Second.
Second by Jean. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote. Melissa?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes?
Emery?
Yes.
MJ, yes, 500. Okay, public hearing, tax levy, property classification hearing.
Here we go.
Welcome. Good evening, Rui.
Good evening. This one works. Yeah. Perfect, thank you. Good evening again. My name is Rui Pereira, and I'm the Director of Assessing here for the town of Bourne. And I'm here to do the fiscal year 2025 tax classification hearing. I think this is now my 5th one, so I'll try to make this as painless as possible. And I'll begin the meeting now with the purpose of why we're here. The purpose is to adopt the town's tax policy by allocating or classifying the tax levy among property types. Board of Selectmen must vote how to adopt a tax rate policy, either by single tax rate or a split tax rate. They can also adopt exemptions and discounts, the open space discount, the residential exemptions, which is up to 20% of the average of all assessed residential value. Eligibility must be the owner's primary residence. There also is a small commercial exemption, which is up to 10% of the assessed value of all eligible properties. The eligibility must be occupied by the business, value less than $1 million, and no more than 10 employees. As I've said, every year, that any of these type of exemptions would require at least a good year in advance of preparation for it, just because the amount of paperwork that it takes to start this process. So if there was ever a consideration of it, we probably need about a year in advance in order to do this. And my next slide here is the recommendation from the Board of Assessors. The Board of Assessors recommends that the Board of Selectmen retain one tax rate for all classes of property for fiscal year '25. The Board feels that the relatively small benefit to the residential taxpayer that could be achieved through the use of two tax rates is not warranted in light of the dramatic increase in taxes paid by the commercial, industrial, and personal property taxpayer. Bourne is largely a residential community that simply does not have enough of a commercial industrial base to make a classification worthwhile. My next slide here is just some analysis work that was completed for the fiscal year 2025 valuation. We reviewed 162 qualified single-family sales that were analyzed for calendar year 2023, which resulted in a median sale price of $650,000. We also reviewed 45 residential condominium sales that were analyzed and occurred in calendar year 2023, which resulted in median sale prices $419 and $250. 166 income and expense forms were analyzed for the development of commercial and industrial valuation. 19 commercial and industrial qualified sales that occurred in 23 and 22 were also analyzed that resulted in a median sale price of $635,000. Approximately 401 forms of lists were analyzed, which resulted in $12,386,940 of new taxable valuation to the personal property base. That new valuation contributed to $99,343.25 in new growth for fiscal year 25. 1,300 inspections were completed in calendar year 2023 and part of 2024, which resulted in 52 $169,450 of new taxable valuation that was collected through building permits and just our normal routine visits that we do throughout the year. The new taxable valuation that was discovered through the residential, commercial, and industrial base contribute to $418,398.75. That's what the total new growth for the residential, commercial, and industrial tax base contributed. And here is our analysis of the changes that were done as far as our value by increase in our four classes of property. Residential was 6.1%, commercial 2.4%, the industrial 5.5%, personal property went up 4.6%. And here, the next slide is the total value by class, which is, it's a breakdown of pretty much our taxable inventory from the residential side, the commercial side, industrial, and personal property. That resulted in a 5.8% increase from fiscal year 2024. My next slide here is a percentage of levy by class. These percentages have pretty much been identical for the last 5-6 years, and there has been absolutely really minimal change between the residential commercial percentage. The industrial might have moved a couple percentage point, but not really that much is the only one that's there that might have changed. And my next slide here is the historical taxable value going back from fiscal year 2002 through 2025. I mean, as you can see, we've kind of been trending in the right direction since fiscal year 2016, which is a good sign. And as far as the percentages of between the residential and the commercial, that's been, as you can see there's really been really minimal change in those percentage amounts. And my next slide here is the tax levy analysis. The current fiscal year 2025 tax levy is projected to be $62,227,363.14. And once we know what our total valuation for the town and what the tax levy is going to be, we can kind of project now what the tax rate is going to be, which is $7.81 per thousand valuation. And my next slide here is just historical tax rates going back from fiscal year 2003 up until fiscal year 2024. As you can see here, the tax rate's been going down since fiscal year, I believe, 20. And my next slide here is the single tax rate and medium assessment analysis. The medium assessment for fiscal year 24 is $564,800. This year, the medium assessment for fiscal year 25 is $595,000. That resulted in a 5.34% increase. I believe your packet might have said 6%, but I made some correction. It was actually came out to 5.3%. The medium the medium change in assessment. And as far as the tax rate from last year was $8.02 per thousand, and this year projected to be $7.81 per thousand, and it's a decrease of 21 cents. And as far as the actual translation of the tax bill, what we're seeing here based on the new rate, as far as with projected medium single-family assessments, going to be, it appears to be about $117.26 as far as what the increase would be based on that type of assessment range. Obviously, properties that are assessed on the lower side won't see that increase as the properties are assessed higher, that 117 will probably be higher, depending on, the type of property we're dealing with. Then we can look at here as the medium commercial and industrial assessment. Medium assessment was in fiscal year '24 was $488,100. For fiscal year '25, it's $527,300. And that resulted in about an 8% increase as far as the medium assessment. And as far as the annual tax bill on a medium assessment of $527,300, it will result in a tax bill increase of $203.65. Once again, some of these properties that are assessed on the lower range might not see that increase. It kind of can range based on, the assessment of where the property is. And my next slide here is the split tax rate options with a tax bill analysis. On the upper half of the slide, you'll see what the tax bill would look like without no shift. And then the second half of the slide, on the bottom half, you will see what the shifts are. Typically, what I usually do on a yearly basis, I will pick out the shifts that make the greatest impact as far as what's available that's there for the board to see. And these were the three that had the most impact to show the difference of what a shift would be. As far as the closest shift to maintain the bill from last year, which was $4,529.69, which you'll see in the very last sentence. In order to maintain that bill from last year, as far as a single-family bill, what would require that would be a 1.100 shift, which would result in a $362 increase for the commercial tax base. Any questions?
No,
Very thorough.
so you're very, very thorough.
Yeah.
Made your case once again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very interesting that because of the large amount of residential property that we have, that a $53 a year savings for a homeowner would result in a huge impact
Right.
on the businesses, and it doesn't really make sense in our particular community, so.
Thank you for your hard work and diligence on this. It's very informative.
Thank you.
Motion to adopt a single tax rate by selecting a residential factor of 1 and determine the allocation of taxes to be borne by the 4 classes of real property, along with personal property for fiscal year 2025, and not to adopt the open space discount, residential exemption, or small commercial exemption for fiscal year 2025.
Motion by Peter, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jean. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? No, very well done. Any further discussion? Being none, it's a roll call vote. Melissa? Jean?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Anne Marie?
Yes.
MJ, yes. 500. You're good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, the next is item 10, proposed advanced warning signs for Toby Island. Who's speaking on this? Is it Tim or someone else? Tim?
It's online.
Okay,
Yep.
welcome, Tim.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, Tim Line with the engineering department. So we've been working with the Emmons Road, the Toby Island Association on making improvements to the bridge, the approach, as well as they installed a gate. So with that, they wanted to install a sign to kind of warn people that coming up to that very narrow road that there is a gate ahead and it is private property, so if you don't have access, that you might need to know that, because I think they were running into issues where people were required to back up. So this is just kind of dovetailing on work that we've already partnered with the Toby Island Association with on, and I can do a screen share if you'd like. I don't know if it's in your packet, but they have presented the information to us, and DPW and I reviewed that, and we thought it was good enough.
So are these signs that the town is paying for on the public part of the road, or we're just giving approval for them to install signs? What's the purpose of bringing this to the select board?
Can we
The
have,
latter, yes. So we're giving them permission to put their sign on our approach.
Okay.
through the chair?
Yes, Peter.
Can we have Tim share the picture on here so that we can see it? I mean, I have it here, but maybe I'll see it better.
Do you have the possibility of sharing it so people
Yeah.
can see?
So can you see that clearly?
Yes.
Yes, thanks,
Yes.
Tim.
I can zoom in a little. So it's just private property, security gate ahead, no turnaround. It's just advance notice that there is a narrow bridge that two cars can't fit on. So before they run into an issue, they felt like this was the best improvement they could make for that situation.
And so where is that sign going now? I mean,
Right, so that'll go ahead of the approach. I got all my all the windows open and the command.
yeah, I had, in my pictures, my thing has to be so zoomed out, so big that the pictures were big, so.
So it would be advanced to the rope, the abutment, the approach for the actual bridge, just after the kayak racks and the former boat ramp.
Yeah, so people would have plenty of room to turn around, they'd kind of know, but when they were in the parking lot area.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, so you're looking for, the select board to approve placement of the advanced warning signs for Toby Island on public property?
Yes.
So move.
Second?
Motion by Peter, second by Jean. Is there any further discussion from the board?
What's the size of the sign?
Thank you, Anne Marie. Say that.
Is it gonna be large and gaudy or something?
I just curious.
You can't,
It appears the size of the speed limit sign. We can work with them on signage size requirements. Do you guys have a preference on the size? I mean, should we have, is like, you know what I mean? What is the amount to quantify it's too large?
A Mass Highway sign is too large.
Yeah, but large enough that it's legible and it's noticeable,
Noticeable, right,
and
right.
we don't have, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know, I'm not a,
I think.
No wider than 2 feet, 2 feet by 3
or if
feet,
it goes up and down.
that's a pretty big sign,
That is
2 feet.
big.
2 feet,
Or 3 feet,
John York has his hand
that's
up.
legible enough.
28 inches.
yeah.
right?
All right, now we have a hand raised from John York. Can you take that down now, Tim, because I have to be able to see people. Thank
You
you.
got it.
Thanks.
John, did you have a question, comment?
Yes, thank you.
Not as big as John's sign.
So, I understand that the sign has to be before the bridge so people have an opportunity to turn around. I'm not familiar with the details of that bridge enough to know where the actual public property stops and the actual private property begins. So maybe Tim could answer that just by telling me, if I'm walking, how far would I walk past the sign before I'm on private property?
Great question, John. I'm pretty sure own the abutment up until the bridge joint. So the sign would be at the beginning of the ramp, and I think the ramp's probably 30, 40 feet.
So it's less than 100 feet?
Yes.
Okay, that's just, if, I didn't know how much of that bridge approach is public, and if you can walk there. I have a little bit of an issue with a sign saying private property that's not where the private property starts, but if it's within, if it's in double-digit feet and not over 100 feet, that's not an issue to me personally, but that was it, that was my question, thanks.
So this kind of brings up a question. So isn't that from between the Monument Beach parking lot and that bridge? Don't a lot of people like walk down to the water to shellfish there? I mean, that's not private property, right?
Not the abutment.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go down on the sides.
Yeah. I mean, it does say, this sign, the sign says, well, let me go unzoom this a little bit so I can kind of see. I think it has to say private property ahead.
Okay.
Because it's not, that's not the property. I don't want that to be construed as the
starting
line of
point.
the private property.
Yeah.
It's private property ahead.
Security gate.
Security
no
gate
turnaround.
with no turnaround.
Move the ahead up to under
Up to
private
private
property.
property, and then security gate with no turnaround. Or something, like, does that make sense? I mean, you could say private property ahead,
If I
security,
may-
yeah.
Alright. Now, Tim, it looked to me as if they already created that sign, because it looks like it was made and there's a actual electric cord behind it, so.
Yes, I will say that they are flexible on the language of the signage. They were hoping to get an approval contingent on anything we required. And I was gonna say, I think the location, we could probably put it at the end of the abutment, and it could still have the same effect, but it would probably be most effective at the beginning of the abutment by that kayak rack.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Because if you get beyond that point, there's no turning around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no room to turn around.
Sure.
Sometimes common
Back
sense.
up, but
So, I think something that would said private property ahead, with security gate, no turnaround, just warning. I mean, maybe it has to say warning. Right? John, do you have a new hand up?
Yeah, just an observation, this is just a language wording thing. It could say private property and security gate ahead. And you can keep it right where it is.
I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You like
Yeah.
that?
Thank you.
Or
yeah.
private property with security gate ahead. We'll leave
Well,
it and.
private property and security gate ahead.
No turnaround.
Well, they might think that they can go all the way down if you're walking. They don't want, I mean, are they trying to deter people walking on the private property as well?
I think total lack of access. I think they want it. It's private property, period.
Right. But if you said private property and security gate ahead, they might think the property isn't private until you get to the gate.
It's not.
No, not to the gate. It starts where the bridge meets the,
Is the bridge, they own,
look
who
at
owns
the,
the
look
bridge?
at the railing of the bridge.
They have control of the bridge, so as
And
soon as it
when-
turns into the bridge joint, that is.
Yes, where the
Toby
bridge,
Island Association.
yeah, see where the bridge joint meets the first bollard there?
Okay, so
That's,
if you're actually putting the sign at the property line, then you can say private property, security gate ahead, no turnaround.
Beyond
right,
this-
but it's
beyond
not.
this point.
They're putting it before where the bush is, near where the bush is, because they want a chance for cars to turn
Advance road,
around.
yeah.
Otherwise, if they head down, they'd have no turnaround.
If they go too far.
They're gone too far. There's no opportunity for turnaround.
I think
So
we're
it-
missing
I know. I think I'd go back to private property ahead.
Okay.
Security gate, no turnaround.
Private property ahead with security gate, no,
Turnaround.
yeah. Private property ahead with security gate and no turnaround. I don't know, no turnaround. No, and maybe to say notice. Notice.
Yeah.
Private property ahead, no turnaround. Security gate, with security gate, no turnaround. All right. You know, sometimes when I'm going to a meeting, my husband says, you know, what's the agenda like? I go, I don't know. You never know what's going to take a long time to talk. Okay.
Getting tired here.
Private property ahead with security gate, no turnaround.
Motion to
Is that what it
approve.
is?
Yep. Right? Is that good for everybody?
Yes.
Yep.
Private property ahead with security gate, no turnaround. And a reasonable sign that's not too imposing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So who made the motion?
Peter,
Peter, who seconded?
I second.
Is there any further discussion?
May I add?
Yes.
On the bottom of the sign, it did say Toby Island Association. Is that okay if that remains on the sign?
Yeah, we are giving permission to the Toby Island Association to place a sign that says private property ahead with security gate, no turnaround, on
Public.
Bourne public property. That is our motion.
Yes.
I think
He's
it's okay.
asking
He's-
if-
Technically not, it's technically not the Toby Island Association at the if it's, right, if it's not on their property yet,
The sign says Toby Island Association.
right?
But it's their sign, it's not a town of Bourne sign. It's not the town of Bourne noticing.
Yeah, they're
It's the-
signing
It's
off
the
on it.
Toby
Definitely.
Island Association noticing.
True.
Town property. So it's okay to leave Toby Island Association on the sign?
I would leave it on.
Yeah.
So that it's clear that it's a Toby Island sign. Yes. Okay, we good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So our motion is to give permission to the Toby Island Association to place a sign that says private property ahead with security gate, no turnaround on town property in the vicinity described by our town engineering department, Tim White.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Did someone motioned and moved?
Yes.
Yep, Peter motioned, Jean moved.
Okay.
Seconded. Okay. All right, roll call. Melissa?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Anne Marie? MJ, yes, 500. Okay. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you. I took longer than Rudy, I think.
You never know.
Have a good meeting. See ya.
Thanks, bye. Okay. Gonna ask Napier. Okay, next item on the agenda is second reading of the waterways, and, hi,
Hello, good evening.
thank you for coming. You can go through it, but I want to say it looks really good.
Thank you.
I think you did a great job with taking our suggestions, so.
Thank you. Hannah Lawrence, Director of Natural Resources. So there were two updates that were discussed at the last meeting that have been revised, so I'm going to read those. The first is 1.1 of the waterways regulations, and it was in regard to repairs. So the change was repairing, other than emergency repairs of a minor nature, overhauling or remodeling of any vessel or watercraft docked, moored, or within town-owned property or marine facility is prohibited without the specific permission of the harbor master or marina manager. We struck out the no fueling of vessels shall be made at any dock, berth, mooring, pier, or landing on any town property except with the authorization of the harbor master or his or her representative, and referred to section 11 for restrictions on fueling or refueling of vessels.
Yep. And then, was there anything in section 11 that changed, or was it all there correct?
Everything was there in the previous reading. I think mooring had been added, but that had already been included.
Okay. And there was some other red lettering, is that just not new?
Section 4.
Section 4.5?
Yes, 4.5 was the other revision that was requested. So the revision is the outermost seaward post/buoy must be visible at all tides and shall not impede and or be a hazard to navigation. Upon authorization from the harbor master, the buoy on the offshore seaward side of a submerged outhaul mooring shall be a minimum 12 inches in diameter. The outhaul number letter must be painted on the buoy as well as the seaward side of the landward post.
Excellent. Are there any questions from the board?
No.
Anne Marie?
I have a question about refuel. So it says all vessels. Does that include dinghies
Yes,
at the dinghy dock?
it would be all vessels.
Right, so if they have to refuel, they have to haul the dinghy out of the water, off the landing, bring it someplace, refuel it, and then put it back on the dinghy dock. For those
so-
that have like the little, 2.5 horsepower engines.
Like a Zodiac with a 9.9, you got
Like
a little.
not even, like a inflatable with a 2.5 horsepower that uses a can this big of
So
airplane fuel.
they'd be able to fuel where authorized. I don't know if, you folks had written that regulation, so I'm gonna turn it over to
Okay.
the chair of the Shore and Harbor Committee.
I can't talk. Richard Libman, Shore and Harbor. Currently, the regulation states that the only thing that they can do with a dinghy dock is take their fuel in the tank, put it on the boat. They're not refueling the boat. It's like cash and carry. They're carrying their fuel on, they're taking their fuel off.
So as soon as they go like this and untether the boat from the mooring, they can go,
They're not pouring it. They're going with a portable tank. The tank's for that one vessel.
right,
So they put it on the boat, they plug it in.
right, we have an outboard whaler that has a, certified red tank that you just plop it on and you plug it in. I'm saying a 2.5 horsepower little motor on an inflatable that they use as a dinghy to get out to their,
Can't refuel
Boat.
under this regulation,
can't refuel at the dock under this regulation.
or at a mooring.
Right. But if they went like this, because according to this, it says no fuel shall be transferred from any that is made fast to any mooring, town, landing, dock, or pier. So here's my little inflatable. I'm tethered. I go like this. I'm not tethered anymore. Can I go like that? Because that's going to be a question. That has been a question.
You can.
Okay.
The regulation says you can't be tied to a dock,
Right,
a mooring.
right.
But if you were at the dinghy dock, I thought you were referring to the dinghy dock.
Yes.
If you were at the dinghy dock and you carried your tank, it also says in the regulation you need to take your tank with you. You shouldn't be
Yes.
leaving the tank in the boat.
Yep.
But no, you can't tie up to the dock and then fuel your boat.
Right. But if you weren't tethered to it,
You could fuel your boat.
you can fuel your boat. Okay?
It's a serious problem. We've had people drop the tanks in the water, pour the
Oh,
gas in the
I
deck.
don't
It's
disagree
It's
there.
been.
Yeah, it's,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I can
We,
imagine.
actually, the day that we talked about changing this regulation, we had a gentleman at Monument Beach carrying jerry jugs down to his boat that was at the dock at Monument Beach. So he was saving himself, I don't know, $20, $10, whatever it was,
Right.
by not fueling
It was
there, by
cheaper,
carrying
yeah.
it down. And all it takes is one to drop it,
Yeah.
and now you got another problem.
Right.
Is your point, Anne Marie, that it should say not tethered or within some distance of the mooring?
No, I'm just
Or,
made fast. I mean, I'm just clarifying it. I just, If
I
it's
mean,
not.
you really
if
don't
it's
want
not
them
there-
fueling when they're
No,
floating around in
But
the
we
water
also
either.
don't
I mean,
want
is there
them-
another
so-
regulation that does that?
I mean, you know, what's stopping them from dragging their dinghy up onto the beach and fueling? Based on this regulation?
Nothing.
Okay. 'Cause that would be a concern too, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's a line, it crosses a line. The line is now you step into conservation, so you drop one drop of oil or fuel in the water, now it's a conservation issue.
Right, I think the most, yes, but, I mean, the regulation can be, and then it's hard to regulate it, right, to actually regulate it.
I would say with these regulations here, that you agree to them, then you see if there's any problems or issues that arise, and then you can always adjust them every year, because you have to sign off on them every year.
Right.
I don't think that the person with the 1-gallon tank and the little, 9-horse motor is the issue. And I don't think that there's many people that are down there that are actually doing that with a little motor.
Okay.
I mean, I may be 100% wrong, but I don't think that's a problem.
But I'm sure it'll be brought to our attention if it becomes one, right? Because the DNR is responsible for enforcing.
I mean, we had a boat company go down, take all their boats out of the water in the parking lot at Barlow, so they were changing oils and doing all their service work in the parking lot, and then putting it back in the water, so that they didn't have to pay a marina to haul them and do that.
Right.
We had a guy on one Saturday that backed in and had a welding truck come down, spent all day there welding the T-top on the vessel, so.
Yeah,
I mean, you can't write it for everything, but we're trying to include everything that we can include.
right. Is enforcement an issue? Has there been problems in the past?
It's hard to enforce it when you don't have a regulation to enforce.
So what we're doing with these waterways, the recommendation, these changes that you've recommended have put in our regulations, there are certain things you're not allowed to do at the dock or the mooring, so that we have the right to enforce those things that we don't want to have happen. And the harbor master has the authority, is the one that has to give permission.
Right.
So I think it's a really good improvement on the regulation, so, and I like the way that it was reworded to be a little bit more clear. So I'm very comfortable with this.
Well, I think when you write a regulation and you look at it 400 times, it reads the way you want it to read.
I know what it
says.
I know what it says. Second set of eyes. All right, great. All right, so I think, I don't have any issues with this. I think we should adopt them. We need to adopt them now so that they can have them ready for, these go in effect in January 1st, right?
Motion to approve a second reading and to move to waive third reading and move to final adoption.
Of the new
The new
regulations.
regulations.
Waterway
Dated, whatever the date.
As presented.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Anne Marie. Motion by Peter, second by Anne Marie. Is there any further discussion?
Marlene's screen over. Does she have anything to say? No? Okay.
No. Okay. Roll call vote. Melissa?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Anne Marie?
Yes.
MJ? Yes.
I did have one more question, sorry.
It's approved 500, but Anne Marie has another question.
How do you get the word out with the new regulations? Is it something,
So it's something that we post on our website as we start to send out all of the
renewal?
billings and everything for the next season. That's also going to be included to the mooring customers, marina customers. I'm planning on implementing some QR codes that we'll have available right at the desk at the office, so folks can scan them and get them right to their smartphones.
Okay.
I want to say thank you for, I know it's a lot of work between you, your staff, and the Shore and Harbor Committee itself, so it's about time, and it's long overdue, but thank you.
Do the regulations, the new regulations, is there a red line version so people will see what's been changed?
We
Or-
can certainly make that available to folks.
I mean, the regulation itself, but something red line to say if you're interested in what's changed, like this is a version, I think that would be excellent.
Sure.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks for having to come back, but we appreciate it. Okay. Okay. Oh, 12. Update regarding purchase of 171 Clay Pond Road to be used as a potential fire station. Madam Town Administrator.
Thank you. So if you recall, shortly before the book went to print for the fall town meeting, we received a report from our engineering company about some items that they saw at 171 Clay Pond Road that concerned them about potential contamination. So we chose not to move forward at the fall town meeting with acquiring that property for the Southside Fire Station. But we have continued to work diligently to do our research on that property. And the seller has also been very cooperative with us and has allowed us this extra time to do a full workup on the site. The files are very large, so they're not in your packet, but links are available on the meeting page of both the phase 1 and phase 2 reports from the LSP that we hired for this project. And at the end of the day, the site is not restricted, so there are no contaminants of concern that were found, and it is a clean site suitable for unrestricted use. So we received this information right before Thanksgiving, and I had a thorough conversation with the design team, the OPM, the architect, civil engineer, the LSP, everybody who's kind of been working on it, and the unanimous recommendation of the design team is to move forward with acquiring the property for a new fire station location. There will obviously be site work costs associated with the project, just like there would be for any project. But the engineer has had some additional time to look at both the septic system and the on-site drainage controls, and both of those, they feel confident that both of those utilities can be designed to meet Title V, which would be an IA system in that watershed, and the requirements to control the stormwater drainage using infiltration chambers. So we are recommending to you that if you so choose, to move forward with calling a special town meeting this winter to acquire 171 Clay Pond Road for the site of a new fire station.
Based on the information, I think it's prudent to go ahead and call for a special town meeting at the earliest convenience as a date set forward by the chair and the town administrator.
Well, so do you want us to talk about the date?
So if the board wants to move forward, I can talk to you kind of about the schedule and what the most aggressive schedule could possibly be, and then we can go from there. But I want to pause here to see, it's our recommendation that this is a good site for a fire station, and we know that it is desperately needed. But I want to give the board the opportunity to, discuss the results of the phase 1 and phase 2 and the engineering more if you want to. I don't want to just assume we're going to move straight forward.
Well, I think it's positive news, so I mean, based on the positive news, I think we should have an agenda item to discuss this further. And because the property owner's not gonna wait forever, they may have other people that may be interested. We've made them wait enough, we did our due diligence on the property, and he's been more than willing to work with the town. So, I think just for everybody involved that we should move forward with calling for a special town meeting at the most reasonable time, and then move this forward so we can get this going. The people of that part of town have waited way too long for this station to be replaced, and I think we need to do this not only for the residents, but for the fire department personnel that have been dealing with these conditions for many years.
So I'm happy to lay out kind of the schedule. If the board wants to open the warrant today and close it and execute it next Tuesday, December 10th, the constable would post the warrant on December 11th. The warrant has to be posted for 14 days. So the absolute earliest that we could hold a special town meeting would be Christmas Day, which I don't recommend.
No.
For obvious
It
purposes.
could be a quorum issue.
Yeah.
Slate.
Um,
So we have, I mean, I'm pretty sure the bylaws specify that we have our meetings on Mondays. So, because I think we have to have our special town meeting on a Monday. The charter says the special town meeting should be 30 days. We can waive that for a shorter emergency by a 4/5 vote of the select
Right.
board to do it less than 30 days.
Yep.
But if we went 30 days and did I don't know, was it January 6th or something?
January 6th is the first in that, yeah.
Does that make sense?
So I do recommend January 6th. I don't believe it's quite, I'm not sure it's quite 30 days, so I do recommend
have to
you
vote to
do
waive
the
that.
waiver under section 2-5-B. I also recommend you do the waiver under charter section 2-5-C. For the handbook. I mean, we'll have the motion and everything prepared, but, we'll have.
Oh, so you're saying that we would open and close and we wouldn't execute till next Tuesday?
Yes.
All right, so, we would, so our action tonight would be, do you want to leave it open that long?
I mean, there won't be any other town articles. If there's
Private
a
petitions.
petition article, I think that, I don't think, I'm okay with running that risk. If there's a petitioned article, I guess we'll deal with it.
Well, we could close it on Friday at noon though, and so then for preparing the packet, it'd be all closed.
Yep,
Yeah,
you're right. You
yeah.
can open it today, close it Friday at noon, execute next Tuesday, hold it on January 6th.
Open on the 3rd, close on the 6th at noon.
Friday, yeah, close December 6th, close December 6th at noon.
Yep.
And so, so it wouldn't be 30 days if we voted next December 10th. But we could do the 4/5
Let's
vote
vote the
to
waiver,
waive that, and for the handbook, we would do both. And we would do that next Tuesday.
Yes.
Yes, I would recommend you do both of those waiver votes.
Yeah.
I would also, want to specify that this town meeting would not include electronic voting.
Okay.
Yep.
For one thing.
For
yeah.
one article.
Yeah,
Yeah, and just for logistical reasons.
yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think we were pretty prepared for going forward for the fall town meeting, so I think we should be able to give an explanation and everything, so I'm comfortable with that. So,
Yes, we are prepared and we're in good shape. The motion would be for 1.75 million. That is the purchase price of 1.5 million plus $250,000 for soft costs, legal, engineering, survey, as well as demolition costs to remove all of the existing structures.
okay,
But the only thing that this,
And the funding source we would recommend, it be the capital stabilization, because we are off schedule for borrowing.
okay. What's in the capital stabilization right now?
A little bit more than 3 million.
all right, so the money's there.
But Erica and I will have the exact balance for you for next week.
So at this point, the only motion we need is a motion to open a special town meeting warrant dated December 3rd, 2024, and to close the special town meeting warrant on December 6th, 2024 at 12 noon.
For a special town meeting to be held January
Right.
6th at 7 PM.
Yes. At the,
6,
High School Auditorium.
2025.
But we have to waive that requirement, though.
Well, we will next week, because we're just calling and opening and
We're
closing.
just we're doing the warrant.
Just calling it.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just opening and closing the warrant. Do you want us to waive the waivers now?
But we can't close it, the charter states we can't close it not less than 50 days unless we waive it by a 4/5 vote.
All right, so we should do the waiver.
Now.
Right, that's how I read it,
Yeah, no, it's all right.
right?
So special town meeting must normally occur no earlier than 30 days after the close of the warrant. That's section 2.5-B. So yes, I do recommend that because we're within that 30-day window, before the warrant closes, the board should waive that section, and it does require a 4/5.
Yeah.
Wait,
Well,
if we
so the-
close the warrant on, if we close the warrant on the 5th at 5 PM, it's more than 30 days.
But we're not supposed to
No.
close the
Oh,
warrant not
it-
less than 50 days.
Yeah, we
We have to
gotta,
waive the
No,
50
no.
days.
No, 30 days.
30,
for special.
30.
For the annual.
30
Oh,
for the
yeah,
special.
30 days,
30.
sorry, 30 days.
so
Right.
I'll withdraw my motion first, and then,
Oh, wait a minute.
Yep.
We can open and close a warrant
and then do
as
the,
long as it's 30 days before the meeting is going to be held.
Right, but are we within the 30 days? I thought you just
Yeah,
said we aren't.
if
And then
December 5th, if we close it on December 5th at 5,
Oh, thought you said December 6th.
well, noon would still be, but I'd make it the 5th.
Okay.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, so
When is the warrant closing?
Thursday the
Well,
5th at noon?
If we close it the 5th, then we don't have to do the.
Yeah,
waiver.
then we're closing it 30 days before the 6th.
Okay, so December 5th at noon?
Yeah,
Yep.
Okay.
I'll amend my motion, or change my
just make a new motion.
motion that we withdraw my original motion. The new motion is to open the warrant for a special town meeting for today, December 3rd, 2024, and close the special town meeting warrant on December 5th at 12 noon for the purposes of calling a special town meeting.
On January 6th, 2025 at 7 PM.
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Peter, second by Jean. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, it's a roll call vote. Melissa?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Emery?
Yes.
MJ, yes. 500.
All right.
And then, I mean, if you want to check with town council to make sure that we don't have to waive anything, but the handbook we might have to waive because the handbook's not
the
going to be
handbook
30
will waive,
days.
yeah.
Yeah.
But we
can
could, yeah,
make the handbook next
anything
week.
that we have to waive, we'll waive on next Tuesday.
Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Progress.
Yeah.
I feel like fireworks, we should be lighting off fireworks or something, you know?
No fireworks.
Not yet.
Because
Almost.
we gotta, we.
Wave some flags.
Like this close to the finish line, this close.
I guess we'll do it by drone.
Yeah.
I've got a bubble machine that sounds like fireworks. I'll bring it to town meeting.
Next item, so we're good on that one. Discussion, proposed IMA for the town of Sandwich for District 5 fire response.
I'm actually going to defer to Chief Palazzi for this. It is something that we've been working with the town of Sandwich on for some of their residents who are facing a hardship with their homeowner's insurance.
Okay.
Good evening, Chief Palazzi. Also, thank you for that vote. As town administrator said, we've been working with Sandwich for as long as I've been on the department, and even before that. We've always had an automatic aid agreement with the town of Sandwich to respond first due for Phillips Road and Scussit Beach. They take the call in, they notify us, we respond. It's been like that forever. This year, ISO, the insurance organization, is no longer adhering to or considering our automatic aid agreement. So for the people that live on Phillips Road in the town of Bourne, they enjoy their ISO rating of 3 and their reduced insurance rates. Their next door neighbor, who used to have a 3, now has a 10 because they're too far away from the Sandwich Fire Station, and they don't consider us to be their primary response, even though it's been this way forever. With this IMA that we're proposing, there's going to be no change to anything that goes on other than we have this agreement that's agreed upon between all parties, and Sandwich now pays us.
I was gonna ask about the revenue stream because if they take the call, they're the ones sending out the billing, or are we keeping the revenue?
None of that's going to change. Right now, the way it goes, Sandwich gets the 911 call, they dispatch. They call over county, we go. Sometimes we beat them in by quite a bit. Sometimes we're right before them, depending on what goes on. But this agreement does absolutely no change to any of the operations that we've been doing forever. It just...
Other than benefit the insurance.
Yeah, and the property owner gets
The
the benefit.
property owner, right? Be able to,
They have that now, or they had that before this, then it's, yeah, it
Right.
just changes how the title of what we did. Before it was an automatic aid agreement, now there is an actual intermunicipal agreement. And Sandwich will pay the town of Bourne $100 for this.
No, but the actual root call, if I call 911 and my Bourne ambulance shows up into a Sandwich house, you bring them to the hospital. Are we keeping that revenue as us bringing them, or does? Okay.
Yes, and that's the way it works now.
Okay.
If we transport, we get that revenue. If we don't transport before Sandwich gets there, if we don't have everything packaged, Sandwich transports their resident.
Okay.
But we don't delay care
Yeah.
to let Sandwich get there.
Okay.
And like I said, this does no change to anything. The way we did this today is the way we'll do this tomorrow once this is signed.
No, it's a good public safety thing, just to help the neighbor. It makes sense for us to go over there and do it.
It's just, isn't this just like a little section that's like
Yeah.
Sandwich,
Yeah.
but it's,
So Scussit Beach and then
200 something on up on Phillips Road, and then part of Scussit Beach.
yeah, yeah, it's
And for reference, it's roughly 23 calls a year. And again, that's for the last 3 years, and we've done 23 so far this year. Nothing's going to change whether we sign this or not for us. It's just going to help the people of Sandwich that live out there with their insurance.
okay. Sounds good. Is there a motion? We need, do we need a vote, who's host, a motion to approve the intermunicipal agreement and authorize the town administrator to sign. Is that what we're looking for?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
So move.
Motion by Peter, second by Anne Marie. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none. Roll call vote. Melissa?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Anne Marie?
Yes.
MJ, yes. 500. You're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, I can spend my $100 on now.
I won't spend it all in one place.
Thank you, and if nothing else, I'll see you on the 6th.
Yes.
Town administrators report.
Thank you. I have a very brief one for you tonight. I wanted to let you know that the opioid mini grant program has been rolled out, so that information is live and available on the town's website. And those will be received and reviewed by Caitlin Shea, and will provide you an update, a status report along the way after we've seen a number of them come in. Secondly, the 2 HCA applicants that you voted yesterday have been notified and have been provided the template, and we will see if any proposals come back for amendment. If they do, I'll bring those forward to you.
Okay.
And finally, as of the end of November, iSwim has diverted 14.12 tons of food waste from the landfill through their food waste diversion project. That's it for me for tonight.
Okay. Next item is minutes.
Motion to approve minutes of 11/12, 11/14, and 11/19, 2024 as submitted.
Second. Motion by Peter, second by Anne Marie. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's a roll call vote. Melissa?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Anne Marie?
Yes.
MJ, yes, 500. Next item is committee reports.
For the chair, I gave you all notice earlier about the Affordable Housing Trust meeting next week, where we'll be introducing, they'll be bringing before the trust a proposed 40B for Cranberry Highway in Sagamore, South Sagamore, right by the Christmas tree shop. It's roughly 165 units over various buildings. But I wanted to give you guys this information in advance, just in case any of you wanted to zoom in or attend that meeting. Anything that comes out of it, I'll bring back to the committee.
Yeah, I was gonna bring this up under future agenda items, but in our correspondence packet, there is a request, the other request for the 40B to come before the board. And Marlene and I talked about this, and what our plan is to have a 40B lip training for the board.
Yeah.
Before we hear the proposals from the two 40Bs. So that will be, we're working on that for January.
Yeah.
So we understand our role, responsibility, and as part of that.
Yeah, it's long, it definitely, it changes.
So I think it would be good, because I don't really understand it. I want to understand at what point we start giving our approval and,
Yeah.
when do they go to ZBA, what we have to do. So I think that'll be a good training for us. And then when we get that figured out, when that's going to be, then we can schedule those two projects to come before the board. If the one that's already requested, I'm sure this one will too. Okay.
As part of that training, can we include the zoning board of appeals on it? Because there may have been some new things that have changed. And they've done some 40Bs in the last few years, but, and not only we've trained for ourselves, but I think it should be offered to other boards that are involved in this.
We can invite the zoning board of appeals to come. Yes?
Yes, we plan on opening it up to the zoning board of appeals and the planning board.
Okay. Great. Okay. Any other committee reports? I can't think of anything. I had Thanksgiving, so whatever. Correspondence?
Correspondence for December 3rd, 2024. A, Upper Cape Tech School meeting minutes for 10/10/2024. B, Waterways application, 61 Harper Drive. C, Wetland protection application, 50 Cove Lane. D, proposed 300-unit 4B rental project, Scenic Highway and Deer Path Trail, Bourndale. E, 2 Kendall Ray, wetland abutters notice. F, DEP letter, J2 Range, Northern EMR. G, DEP letter, J1 Range, Southern Environmental Monitoring Program. H, Department of Public Utilities, Cape Lake Compact Filing. I, DEP letter, Natural Resource and Area Sensitive, let's start that again. DEP letter, Natural Resource Area Nitrogen Sensitive Area Requirements. J, email, George Seaver, Scientific Paper, Estuary Nitrate Sources in Buzzards Bay. K, Infinity Price Changes. L, 6 Lake Drive, Board of Health Hearing Request. M, Talent Bank, Cosmic Arroyo, can't see that. Council on Aging, Cosmic Arroyo. And Governmental Accounting Standards Board Accounting Valuation Report for Bourne as of June 30th, 2024.
Oh, it is 2024.
2024, okay. I was going to say, wow. That's something.
That's pretty good. That's
a long one.
And
that's
I was going to, as I said, I think we're going to have a future agenda item on the 40B issue.
Right.
And I'll work with Marlene on when we can do something about the parking discussion. So we don't wait too long on that.
And then a mid-year review of goals and.
Yeah, I have that on, so I think we're gonna try to put our upcoming meeting schedule in the select board packet so that you guys can all see the things that we have sort of scheduled and the things that we have currently unscheduled, which is a pretty long list.
Good, yeah.
Marlene?
Thanks. The DEP letter in in your correspondence packet, they're requesting a meeting with regards to the CWMP. MJ, I think you were working with Bob Colvette for a joint meeting on January 7th.
Yes. So can we have them come then?
I would like to, if it's all right with the board, I would like to invite DEP to that meeting.
Yes.
So that they're talking to both boards, if that's
Yes.
all right.
I think that's a good idea. I did have a conversation with Bob Collette. January 7th, we had set that as a
Tuesday.
CWMP
Yeah.
workshop. I think we're doing it in the evening though, right? We're
Yeah.
not doing it at, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think that's an excellent idea, and I think that's when we should have them come.
Okay.
Because we're going to be having a lot of, it's CWMP, and, that's who we want to have to talk to about it, so we can get some definitive answers.
I will make that offer and we'll see what they say.
Okay, sounds good.
And the future agenda item, based on yesterday's meeting, do we have any idea when we want to do the RFA meeting for?
So for next week, I have MassDOT bridges, further marijuana discussion, TA recommendations on the road safety committee, and priorities goals review and upcoming meetings. That's what I have for next Tuesday. And now the special town meeting warrant signature.
Yep.
Wait a minute. So
Next Tuesday.
next Tuesday's agenda items?
Yes.
So we're gonna do the
bridges?
Right.
MassDOT is at 6.
We're gonna do the mid-year review of goals? then?
Yeah, we're
Is
gonna
that-
have I don't know how much of a mid-year of goals, review of goals, but I do want to have a discussion of goals and priorities and projects that we're working with, and have all the things that are currently under, because we're taking on things that seem like small things, but they end up being big
Time
things.
consuming.
So, I mean, even the
Yeah.
90 Adams, we said, well, we gotta, timely, we gotta do it. So each of these things kind of becomes another thing. And I want the board to, the further marijuana discussion has to be in the context of that whole goals and priorities, because we have to kind of figure it out, so.
Right.
I,
So at that point, we're not making any decisions other than setting some kind of timeline and,
yeah, we're gonna talk,
The
that's
conversation.
kind of what we
Yeah.
have to
Yeah,
kind of talk
yeah.
about that, because
Processes, yeah.
Yeah,
I said what,
the
I
priorities
asked the
and-
board about scheduling, and I got different responses, so
okay.
we have to talk about it,
Okay.
so. Okay, I think we can have a motion to adjourn now.
So
Yes.
move.
Second.
Motion by Peter, second by Anne Marie. Roll call vote, Melissa,
Yes.
Jean,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
Anne Marie,
Yes.
MJ, yes, 500.